Now, what is this, 2-3 weeks later, they're saying, well, maybe it wasn't the tomatoes. They're not sure what it was. So it just started a scare, and everybody's just going like, yeah, right, go away and leave me alone.
Knee-jerk response, but here's the thing. I think what it was is that, number one, what we did is we hit it right on the nail right on the head. Number one, the tomatoes that were a problem were from Mexico. The one thing to point out is all of these things are trackable. It's not like, gee, they're in a mystery anymore.
No.
Everything is registered with a federal system that was mandated by the Interior Police of the KGB, Homeland/Heartland Security.
Well, this is the Department of Agriculture is in charge of this now. And this comes under the Country of Origin Labeling Law. This went into effect last fall. As a matter of fact, I have to deal with this every day, with everything that comes in, before it comes into the store, before it goes into the distribution center. You have to know where it came from, what farm it came from, what country, whether it was wild-caught, farm-raised, right down. You can track it back to the farmer.
And count the number of freckles on that fish's rear end.
The day it was caught. All of that has to be in the packaging information, and if a customer asks you, you have to know. So if you're going to tell me that somebody did not know this, I mean, they're out of their minds. I'm sorry.
It's a lie. In other words, this is where they're trying to play on the idea that people don't think about the anal retentive control freaks that we have in the system who have set up this massive tracking mechanism. Now, the problem is that what it comes down to is that they tracked it all right, and they know it came from Mexico. And what they're doing is, there's two ways to look at it. Either A, it's because Montezuma's revenge is what you were warned about for years south of the border. Don't eat the fresh food, man. And whatever you do, man, don't drink the water from the faucets, dude. Remember that, guys?
It's got to be good.
Well, there's a reason, because there's stuff floating around, literally, in the fields that came from places where you hear that flush in that little room off to the side. Well, don't worry. It goes down the pipes, down the tubes, along through the sewage system, and out into the farming fields.
Yep.
And that's where it came from. Now, here's the other thing. The other problem is this, guys. The stuff all is being routed from China or from these Chinese operations in western Mexico. That's where that superhighway is going that they want to rip off America with, okay? Now, either A, through that central routing position, somebody contaminated and poisoned the operation, and gee, what a surprise, it's in Mexico with the Chinese running it. Duh! Or B, it's just the same old problem they've always had with food produced in Mexico. Either way, people, we know where it came from.
Well, the thing I'm seeing, too, in the last year is things that are produced in China that are just absolutely not good for us. From what they did locally here, what we saw in the news, was they had a day where they had everybody bring in different things because of the children's toys that had lead paint, but they had them just bring everyday household items in as well. Everything from women's makeup, made in China, to plates, cups, things that were painted, anything that was painted in China, brought over here. All they had more than the recommended amount of lead poisoning. Now, think about this, putting makeup on your face, ladies, that has this much, 10 times or more the amount of lead poisoning soaking into the skin.
Lead material.
Yes,
right, lead.
absolutely.
Lead. However, here's the thing, too, is probably it wasn't too bad for us. We lived with lead for a long, long time without everybody dying. And isn't it interesting that since we banned lead, that Alzheimer's and all these other things accelerated? Isn't that kind of strange? Because, think about it. Grandpa and Grandma, they grew up with the stuff all around them. Mm-hmm. So there's other stuff, too, in the plastics and with regard to toxins. I remember we just had how many dogs and cats die from whatever they sent into them.
That was contaminated milk from China, and this is one of the things I was talking about. If you take a look at your frozen packaged foods, check to see where it was grown. I've been looking at the frozen fish, and almost all of it is either from Indonesia or China. So be aware of that. It's, if you're looking at cheap, almost all of our shrimp, most of tilapia, most of it it's either Indonesia or China.
Now, here's the thing. What do? Kill off all of our fishermen here in the United States?
Well, this is the thing that bothers me, that I'm seeing all this stuff come in from Trinidad, from Indonesia, from China, from the Philippines, from Costa Rica, from Argentina. What happened to our American farms? The only thing I'm seeing come in from the American farms is catfish, Atlantic salmon, and now we're starting to get actually small portions of Alaskan salmon, sockeye salmon. And that's it. I'm not seeing a lot of American fish. And I'm thinking about our friend George that passed away, that was into fish farming, and I was like, wow, he hit the nail on the head. This is going to be a way, to really make a difference here in the U.S.
But again, one of the things is that the